Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
The charge for transporting something by common carrier. We pay the freight. Transporting goods commercially at rates cheaper than express rates. Goods carried by a large vehicle. Load with goods for transportation. Transport commercially as cargo. The charge for transporting something by common carrier. The freight rate is usually cheaper. The charge for transporting something by common carrier. Transporting goods commercially at rates cheaper than express rates. Goods carried by a large vehicle. Goods carried by a large vehicle. The official act of consigning a person to confinement, as in a prison or mental hospital. The delivery of goods for sale or disposal. Goods carried by a large vehicle. A quantity that can be processed or transported at one time. The system broke down under excessive loads. Corrupt, debase, or make impure by adding a foreign or inferior substance, often by replacing valuable ingredients with inferior ones. A deposit of valuable ore occurring within definite boundaries separating it from surrounding rocks. Goods carried by a large vehicle. Provide, a device, with something necessary. He loaded his gun carefully. Wait to be borne or conveyed. The front part of a guided missile or rocket or torpedo that carries the nuclear or explosive charge or the chemical or biological agents. Fill or place a load on. Load a car. An onerous or difficult concern. That's a load off my mind. An amount of alcohol sufficient to intoxicate. He got a load on and started a brawl. Electrical device to which electrical power is delivered. Put something on a structure or conveyance. Load the bags onto the trucks. The power output of a generator or power plant. Transfer from a storage device to a computer's memory. A quantity that can be processed or transported at one time. Goods carried by a large vehicle. Wait to be borne or conveyed. The labor of putting a load of something on or in a vehicle or ship or container, etc. The loading took 2 hours. The ratio of the gross weight of an airplane to some factor determining its lift. Goods carried by a large vehicle. The front part of a guided missile or rocket or torpedo that carries the nuclear or explosive charge or the chemical or biological agents. Goods carried by a large vehicle. The act of sending off something. Assign a rank or rating to. The restaurant is rated highly in the food guide. The relative speed of progress or change. He works at a great rate. Amount of a charge or payment relative to some basis. A 10-minute phone call at that rate would cost $5. Estimate the value of. How would you rate his chances to become president? A magnitude or frequency relative to a time unit. They traveled at a rate of 55 miles per hour. A quantity or amount or measure considered as a proportion of another quantity or amount or measure. The literacy rate. Be worthy of or have a certain rating. This bond rates highly. Amount of a charge or payment relative to some basis. The act of expelling a person from their native land. The sentence was one of transportation for life. The act of moving something from one location to another. The sum charged for riding in a public conveyance. A facility consisting of the means and equipment necessary for the movement of passengers or goods. The commercial enterprise of moving goods and materials. The United States federal department that institutes and coordinates national transportation programs, created in 1966. The act of moving something from one location to another. Hold spellbound. A mechanism that transports magnetic tape across the read, write heads of a tape playback recorder. Something that serves as a means of transportation. A state of being carried away by overwhelming emotion. Move while supporting, either in a vehicle or in one's hands or on one's body. The commercial enterprise of moving goods and materials. Transport commercially. Send from one person or place to another. An exchange of molecules, and their kinetic energy and momentum, across the boundary between adjacent layers of a fluid or across cell membranes. Move something or somebody around, usually over long distances. Conveyance provided by the ships belonging to one country or industry. The commercial enterprise of moving goods and materials. Spend extravagantly. Commodities offered for sale. Articles of the same kind or material, usually used in combination, silverware, software. Engage in the trade of. Commodities offered for sale. Good business depends on having good merchandise. The set of elements common to two or more sets. An artifact that has been created by someone or some process. They improve their product every year. Commodities offered for sale. That store offers a variety of products. A quantity obtained by multiplication. The product of 2 and 3 is 6. A chemical substance formed as a result of a chemical reaction. A product of lime and nitric acid. A consequence of someone's efforts or of a particular set of circumstances. Skill is the product of hours of practice. Criminal law. A pleading describing some wrong or offense. He was arrested on a charge of larceny. Move quickly and violently. A quantity of explosive to be set off at one time. This cartridge has a powder charge of 50 grains. The quantity of unbalanced electricity in a body, either positive or negative, and construed as an excess or deficiency of electrons. The battery needed a fresh charge. Cause to be agitated, excited, or roused. The speaker charged up the crowd with his inflammatory remarks. Psychoanalysis. The libidinal energy invested in some idea or person or object. Freud thought of cathexis as a psychic analog of an electrical charge. Demand payment. Will I get charged for this service? Direct into a position for use. He charged his weapon at me. Blame for, make a claim of wrongdoing or misbehavior against. He charged the director with indifference. Request for payment of a debt. They submitted their charges at the end of each month. Cause to be admitted. of persons to an institution. File a formal charge against. The suspect was charged with murdering his wife. To make a rush at or sudden attack upon, as in battle. Give over to another for care or safekeeping. Provide a device with something necessary. Attention and management implying responsibility for safety. A special assignment that is given to a person or group. His charge was deliver a message. Heraldry consisting of a design or image depicted on a shield. A formal statement of a command or injunction to do something. The judge's charge to the jury. Attribute responsibility to. The tragedy was charged to her inexperience. An assertion that someone is guilty of a fault or offense. The newspaper published charges that Jones was guilty of drunken driving. The swift release of a store of effective force. Impose a task upon, assign a responsibility to. He charged her with cleaning up all the files over the weekend. Assign a duty, responsibility or obligation to. She was charged with supervising the creation of a concordance. An impetuous rush toward someone or something. The wrestler's charge carried him past his adversary. A person committed to your care. The teacher led her charges across the street. Cause formation of a net electrical charge in or on. Charge a conductor. Energize a battery by passing a current through it in the direction opposite to discharge. I need to charge my car battery. Enter a certain amount as a charge. He charged me $15. Fill or load to capacity. Charge the wagon with hay. Financial liabilities, such as a tax. The charges against the estate. Instruct a jury about the law, its application, and the weighing of evidence. Instruct or command with authority. The teacher charged the children to memorize the poem. Lie down on command, of hunting dogs. Make an accusatory claim. The defense attorney charged that the jurors were biased. Pay with a credit card. Pay with plastic money. Postpone payment by recording a purchase as a debt. Will you pay cash or charge the purchase? Place a heraldic bearing on. Charge all weapons, shields, and banners. Saturate. The room was charged with tension and anxiety. Set or ask for a certain price. How much do you charge for lunch? The price charged for some article or service. The admission charge. Transport, cargo, by air. Transport, cargo, by air. Transport, cargo, by air.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.